love this place!
Hey, man, is that
Double D?
Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, like, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys, who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening the refrigerator and being...
Oops.
We live.
Hey.
Opening the refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren. Right?
Dada speaks to you.
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys. For socialism and femboys.
For socialism and femboys.
We gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
Al zurdo de mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
Pero ¿me podés definir zurdo de mierda? Que no
Todos los que,
entiendo.
digamos, los colectivistas, los que ponen, digamos, o sea, esa idea... A ver,
¿Por qué le pones de mierda, digamos?
Porque son una mierda.
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Otisburg. Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg. It's a little bitty place. Otisburg. Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town. Yep.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
10, 5, 4, 3. Great sandwich!
Thank you. I enjoyed having you here. You're a very good co-host.
Man, your sinewy muscles are just ripped. And look how your gleaming sweat just comes off your golden body, and the women are just looking the same, and all of them want
Double D. How is everybody doing?
Double D.
That's right. A little bit of technical difficulty there. I switched scenes a little too early. Got a spirited crowd already. Got plenty of super chats.
We got Tora in a new house.
Tora in a new house. Kevin Lamb, yep. Thank you very much. Not here. Yeah, we got Tora. Just signed the papers for a new house.
That's big. Yep.
Attaboy. Our old buddy James. Beers on me, boys. Yeah. As long as they are cheap. Well, fortunately, Yingling is still pretty cheap. Thank you, James. Vector. I can't make it. I want everyone to know I've been depressed lately, and I very much support the current thing. All hail Double D. I'm going to guess that's a little poke at Matt Mercer.
Well, you had me, Vector. I thought you were really down in the dumpster.
Yeah, Crazy Mouse is like, man, we got to cheer up Vector. He's not feeling it. Thank you, Vector, very, very much. Damn, not to be outdone. A little more beer money.
Yep.
Well, here's what I do with that money, Hungar.
Look at that. Flex your muscles, that shirt pops right off.
Go to Hungar's store at TeePublic. He can get some fine T-shirts like that, just like I did. There we go. Yeah, we got a full house here
Did you see
already.
Jeff Hatch is in the house?
Jeff Hatch, good to see you.
I put out a milk carton thing for him the other day. Looks like they answered it.
Stephen Forshaw, good to see you, buddy. Channel member, yep. Got TKHFG. Just trying to call out some of the members here. Of course, Tora and James and brother. Hungar, yep. All right. Well, guys, we have a very...
Look at that. Hold on.
Oh,
you got
geez.
another one.
We got another one there. We got our old buddy Mercurius. $2 Australian, mate. Something for the tip jar.
It's like $80.
I love it. Just the tip, please. Just the tip, Mercurius. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Luke West.
TK wants you to just call him Tim.
Tim, there we go. We've got Cal here, our fearless moderator. I saw Jeff in the Pundit stream. Yep, I think he was there. Good to see you, Cal. All right, so.
Ryan David just popped in.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? Yeah, we're going to try to get Ryan back on sometime in April, if we can. Speaking of guests, stay tuned for a little bit. We're going to have good dude coming up momentarily, Aaron from Immortal Rising Comics. We're just going to chit-chat with him for a little bit, talk about his comic, his graphic novel, actually, and hit number 1. And he's beginning signups for number 2, so we'll talk with him. He's also a gamer, too, so he's kind of straddles both of those lines. We may look at some Margaret Weiss Twitter burns on 5th edition, as well as Joe Manganello. we may look at that Matt Mercer video.
Could we say that we dined with him?
Well, Joe Manganello, yeah.
How many tables away do you have to be to say you dined with him?
We dined about 40 feet from.
That's too far. It was closer.
25 feet, probably.
Yeah,
25 feet from Joe Manganello at this.
And to be honest, we made eye contact.
We did.
He was in a private room.
Yeah.
We only saw when they were coming and going with his food.
But I want you guys to stay tuned because at a moment a little bit later in the stream, I have a very big announcement for next week's show. You're gonna want to hear this, and then you're definitely gonna want to tune in next week because it's
Topless Tuesdays.
Topless Tuesday, yeah. Your old boy went whale hunting, and he got a big one. So hopefully I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, we've made all the okays and firmed up the plans. So unless something goes wrong at the last minute, it'll be on. So stay tuned for that. Right now, I am going to welcome in our old buddy Aaron C. from Immortal Rising.
What up?
Hail nerds.
How you doing?
DD, I have been feeling very depressed lately, and I really kind of wanted to talk about it. For just kidding. Everything's been great.
Get the granny shawl on. Got the fingernail polish. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, there's this thing that has nothing to do with gaming that I wanted to bring in and really shove it in your face for no reason.
Yeah, because if there's one thing gamers want to hear about is talk about Palestinians and Israelis, right?
Yeah, right.
Nothing gets you in the mood for gaming like that.
You know what? That's why I don't watch Fox or CNN. It's like I don't want to watch that stuff right now, you know?
Exactly. So, first of all, I know you had me on your show a little while back. Thank you for that. It was very cool.
Yeah.
And I just so you guys know, I do walk the walk when it comes to these folks. That is my edition.
Oh yeah, look at that beauty.
Immortal Rising.
I like that cover.
It's very cool. Yeah, very cool.
Awesome.
Who does artwork? Who does artwork for you?
That is Jose Garcia. He is a longtime veteran of the animation world. He's worked for every big name that you probably know, and he has been getting into comics as well as he does his own classes for his students. And he lives in Mexico City. And which is really interesting. I can't wait to see his influence on the Mexican art scene.
Nice.
You might be here in a few years. You might be seeing more Mexico City people.
That's good because they're probably free of all the kind of bullshit that seems to go on in modern comics.
As long as they dodge all the cartel bullets, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they have other things to worry about. Our old friend Hungar. I get all my news from Double D. Well,
Here we go.
It's a good source. Thank you very much, buddy. I got one. Yeah, there you go. I got the one gun salute. I got one question for you regarding this.
All right.
Look at that. That is, I guess we could say she's the baddie, sort of, in the issue 1.
Yes,
the Empress.
The meta baddie. Basically, the first issue is like a man versus environment kind of thing. I guess the gods, right, kind of start their shenanigans and thrusts our first level party into the conflict. And she is the Empress of the evil empire. Yeah.
Now, I got to ask, is there a little bit of a nod to our favorite Spider Queen, Lolth, in her design?
There's definitely a tip of the hat to Lolth on that one. So, and then with the blue skin is actually a nod to the aliens from Voltron.
Oh, sweet! Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's why I wanted them all blue. So
yeah,
all the dark
does. I'd read it before, of course, and I just kind of flipped through it again to refresh myself at lunch today. Yeah, it is very much kind of like a starting D&D adventure, which I'm sure was kind of your angle right out of the gate.
Very
how
much
did you,
so.
How did you think of the story? Was it inspired on any of your games?
Actually, I completely ripped it out of my game. So we've been homebrewing a campaign setting. Geez, we basically played on the same setting since I started. Almost, well, I wouldn't say since I started, but early teenage years, and have been, playing with, people will come and go, but the world has always kind of stayed the same as far as like, the overall everything world. And this is, I actually asked, because how it all kind of started was I was writing notes down because I'm terrible at taking notes, and so I'm sitting there and writing notes down, and as I'm writing down the timeline of events so that, because since we've been playing so long, we don't forget. And I'm tired of asking my players what happened, and they're like, oh, this and that. Anyways, so it turned into, slowly from like timeline events into, like exaggerating into the event, turning it into a scene to where people are like talking to each other. I was like, oh shit, this wants to be told. So I was like, I asked my table, I was like, guys, the ones who were there at the time, I was like, all right, I want to write a comic. At the time, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a novel or not, but I was like, I want to write a story based on our stuff. For us was originally, I was like, well, just kind of for us. And I was like, where should I start? And it was my table who unanimously said this adventure, because it helps to bridge a lot of events. And it's some of their favorite characters. So I was like, perfect, let's do it. And so I ran with it. I turned all of the characters that we were playing with in that group into characters in my story.
Sweet. Yeah, Cal, we're talking about Immortal Rising. Aaron is actually let me see if I can oh, there we go. I need control here for just a moment.
Whoa, close that tab. Just kidding.
Yeah, so Aaron is he's done Immortal Rising 1, which is what I have. You can still get this in demand, right, Aaron?
Yes, and actually I've got a limited supply. I'm selling out kind of fast because I'm doing a tour right now, getting people knowing about that, 2 has got a sign up page and everything, and just reminding everybody that I'm still out here. So cool. Yeah, I've got maybe, what is it, like 8 of them left or something. So, and with this, if you buy now off of FMC, Fund My Comic, you'll get the stretch goals from my first campaign that was on Indiegogo. That is 7 chibi stickers of the main characters, and also a magnet logo and an ad card. So that which I had a little extra.
I would have shown it's upstairs though. I just grabbed the book, but sure. Yeah, I have all that stuff.
Yeah, actually, if you scroll down, go back up just a little bit. It's at the very beginning. I show everything that you'll get. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
And and I'll tell you guys, if you really want to see an example of the writing, example of the art, just go to the page and check it out. I'll tell you, I have a great, through rate. A lot of people, basically everybody that goes to the site buys. So I think that if you go there, you will be convinced to want to buy as well.
Yeah.
So check it out.
It's a good like opening, call it like an opening adventure, for,
yes.
If you're starting a campaign, that's kind of how I read it. And I was kind of like, oh yeah, I can almost see what's going on here. That's why I asked, like, this kind of has to be based in part on past gaming.
And all right. So, and actually I wrote the story out. I was like, all right, what is this? What does it want to say? So I wrote it all out, and then I was like, this is going to be way too expensive to put it in one book. So I cut it into 3, cut it into its different acts. And that's how I'm selling it right now. So
cool.
And actually, for the second campaign, I'm really considering taking this 50 pages. I think it's roughly 50 pages. Taking the 50 pages in here, cutting the book in half, and taking it out of, instead of the perfect bound, doing saddle stitch floppies, and trying to get that down close to like $5 a floppy is the idea.
Oh, wow.
And just to
Old
give
school.
just give like an intro to people. It's like, well, let me buy one or two, and if I like it enough, I'll get the 3 and 4 kind of stuff. So
nice.
And also I have variant covers as well, which I have in a folder to share, but your system's a little different than what I'm used to, so I don't want to
I'm not on stream. I'm not on
launch the
StreamYard
nuke or something. Yeah. But I've got a variant cover of the Empress, actually looking all sexy. It's very cheesecakey. That was done by Corey Barton. In case anybody is aware of Corey Barton yet, if you're not, you probably will be before long. If you're into comic books at all, the indie scene, and then also by former, I think he's Marvel artist, and now he does Dragon Rage, which you should have him on your show. He's a cool dude. Is Jimmy Reyes? He's a great guy. For issue 2, he did in issue 2. There's an ogre. Part of the thing. He did a cover of the ogre with some like goblins around him and stuff. So it's so badass. It's so good. And also the colorist was somebody in the role-playing scene. His name was, I think it's Andreas, and I don't remember his last name, and I feel terrible. I need to write it down. But he did all the coloring for the Jimmy Reyes.
Well, it sounds fantastic. I know what you mean. I've seen Jimmy Reyes on Ethan's show quite a bit. Seems like a good dude. I know he's in the Twitter room that you created. Yeah. So good. Now about campaign 2, it hasn't launched yet. You're just kind of generating some interest for it. So if you guys look in the description for this live stream, and you can see all the links there if you want to grab issue 1. Or just give it a look, see if it's for you. Go ahead and do that. And you can also go to the sign up page for issue 2. And put your email in there so you'll be informed when it does launch. And you can be part of it. I kind of recommend this. It's a good story.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Once I get to 100, I will I'll launch. I'll probably go on Michael Bancroft and do it right.
There you go. There you go. Nice. So
is this accurate, Double D? We haven't gotten a chat in about 4 minutes.
Did I drive everybody away? What happened?
No.
Do I offend?
That's might just be a hiccup. How hard is it to write a comic for somebody who's not in the industry? Like, how hard is it to write a comic that you've never done this kind of thing before?
Yeah, well, that's actually a big deal, right? So I have I've done different types of writing. I used to like win competitions with like essays and stuff like that. I've written lyrics, some poetry, a little bit of poetry, short stories. I haven't done a novel, and I had not done a comic. So getting into doing a comic, it is its own art form. And it's something to take serious. You can't just kind of do it. It may sound easy, but there's like I love to use the term action economy per page or per scene, right? Like you have to really you have to know how to bring out the most important parts of a scene and you have to cut down fight scenes. You can't have all these elaborate things. You have to get to the point of it, right? And that takes skill to really know what should be said and what should be shown.
Are all your short stories this type of genre, or do you like branch out to do other types of topics as well?
Actually, me and Jose Garcia, the artist, we did a black and white short story. I think it was 8 pages. It's called The Tower Time Forgot. It's in an anthology for Arrow Comics, and it's a future dystopian where this biotech nanovirus or something like that has basically taken over humanity, and a couple of the last survivors go to this tower in San Francisco to find the scientist's lab who originally created this virus thing, or this nanotech virus. And and what happens when they kind of go through the tower, and I'm not going to spoil it, but that comic is actually, I think it may be on FMC still. I don't know if it's still funding or not, but it's called Out of Obscurity. So that was pretty fun to write, actually.
Cool. Now, when you play, do you play D&D? Do you play like a variant?
Yes. I am going to get booed off stage, but my table plays 3.5. I cannot get them. You won't
get booed off here. We played 3rd edition for a long time. I had a lot of fun with it too.
We played 2nd edition forever, and but it feels like forever. And in fact, it was like one of my players. He was younger. He had like 20 books, 3.5 books or something. Had kind of got into it with a different table, and then joined us, or joined the table. And anyways, it took them, I don't know, years to convince me to get away from 2nd edition and try 3.5. I was like, I didn't want to do it.
Some love from 3.5 from the chat.
I see that.
yeah, nice.
So I can't get them to break the 3.5, which I guess I'm all right with. In fact, my 8-year-old son is getting into D&D as well, pretty hardcore actually, more than I expected. And it's great because it's kind of funny because the player that bought all the books, he actually moved. He's for work. He lives in Hawaii now, and kind of telechats in or whatever. And he's left the books at my house for so long. They just sit on my shelf. And so my son, he can pull them out and look through them whenever he wants, which is really helpful.
It's like squatters' rights.
Yeah, exactly.
3.5's a 3rd edition and 3.5. Those were good additions if you kind of knew how to tame the bloat a little bit. Yes. I think what a lot of people didn't realize is, as a DM, there's probably some things you should have said no to back in the day, because there was just so much. There was a glut of material for it.
Yeah.
You got those like splat books from Mongoose, which seemed like they were barely tested, and just your players would show up to the table like, oh yeah, well I have this feat now, and it's like, dragon slaying feat, what? It's But if you can tame it, to me it's still a pretty solid addition.
I like it a lot. I think my players like it a lot for the customization. But so the way that we play, we did make some changes, but we do try to do rules as written. Like, we are a table of lawyers, and which in a good way, and I guess the main thing that we changed was we got rid of spell slots. We use an MP system instead, and it really helped balance out the game for casters, for us anyways.
Mana points.
Yeah, mana points. Yep. And but otherwise, everything is basically if it's official, which means if it comes from a Dragon magazine or something like that, even it's playable, because and if anything breaks, because a couple of my players are very min-maxy, and they love to really push the envelope, and man, I tell you, I will be cussing, but at the end of the day, it balances itself out, as you continue on. And I apologize for being kind of bitchy, and
no, it's still 3.5. You do have to kind of monitor, what the group has, but you can pretty easily match them when you do know that. Now, if you go into something unaware of, what they're armed with, you can get you can get trounced pretty quick as the DM. Now, do
Yeah.
you DM most of the time?
I would say as an average, I am like the main DM, but I would say over the past probably maybe, I don't know, 8 years or so, something like that. We've been switching off. There's like 3 of us now that kind of DM, which is cool. And it's all, in the same world and everything. So
I was going to ask you share the setting, right?
Yeah, they build off of over here, and then, it's really fun.
So you never ventured into the 4th or 5th edition waters at all?
I didn't do 4th. I have considered 5th, like my son and stuff like that, and is kind of getting into it. So I bought him the Player's Handbook for 5th edition, thinking that, because I haven't really looked at it too much, but a couple of the players at my table who have looked at 5th edition, in fact, one plays in a group, like a separate group, and it's like it's not as customizable. Everything is kind of simplified, they were saying, like I don't know, overly generic is kind of their description. So I don't know. We'll see if it actually takes form, since we mostly play 3.5. My son actually sits in on games sometimes too. He's learning 3.5. So I don't know. We may never get to 5th.
if he learns that, I honestly don't think there'd be any reason to go to. It would be kind of a step. I don't want to say. I guess it would be a step down. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think it would. 5th edition was okay at like low levels, and I was gonna say for like little kids, it actually might be. It's not going to be too deadly, for like for a youngster. But hey, if you want to initiate him the right way, tell him,
right.
This is the way the world is, kid.
Time to die.
You can hit a fastball, you can hit anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, I just TPK'd my table like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it was funny
How'd that
because.
happen?
All right, so
you hit the nuke button on them.
It was totally their fault. They I don't know. It was like one of the players was running what was he running? He was running a barbarian, and for some reason he wasn't acting the way he normally braggadocious and all this, over the top kind of stuff. He wasn't acting that way this time. He was nervous. He seemed kind of anxious about everything too, and I'm not putting it on him. Like there was a ninja in the group. He wandered off too far, and they were so. Basically what happened was they were trying to track down a white dragon, and they had gotten to it. They found its lair. They climbed this mountain. The lair was in the snow peaked kind of mountain stuff. And there was a small frost giant village right outside the lair, not too complicated. I don't know. There's maybe 9. I think there was 9 frost giants. One was a wizard. The rest were just, brutes. And
how many people were in the party?
We had a sorcerer, which I'm not a fan of sorcerer, but that player wanted to try it out. I was like, okay. So we had it was like a dragon, something kind of like dragon, half dragon source. I don't know, something to do with dragons. And he was a sorcerer. We had a ninja, we had a barbarian, and I don't remember what the other one was. I think
so. Just 4?
Yeah, it was just 4 dudes. Yeah,
man,
and
they might have deserved it.
The ninja had a minion with him, a bard minion. So I don't know. It was kind of it was like 4.5 against 9, which sounds kind of hard to do with giants and all that stuff. But like I was saying, some of my players are min-maxers. So and we were, me and that min-maxer lawyer character or player was like discussing things later on, and it was like, yeah, as a DM, I wasn't asking too much. Yes, the giants were very beefy with their hit points, but and their hits. But if they had worked together as a team instead of kind of like spreading out, and some people weren't doing their jobs really, it got them killed. That's what it was.
That'll do it. You get people who don't know their job, or are just kind of falling asleep at the wheel at the wrong moment. It can lead to a cascade.
Wrong moment.
A pretty bad
I
night.
felt
for
bad. I was like, oh no, what'd I do? As a DM, I take responsibility, but at the same time, I was like, no, because he wasn't doing that. And he wasn't doing. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Anytime there's like a small group going up against a big group, just go reference Gladiator when they're in like the Colosseum.
Yeah, get together.
when
work as a
when
team.
Maximus gets them all to work together.
Yeah,
but they didn't do any kind of reconnaissance. You have a ninja. Like, how did you not decide to check it out first and see what you were even up against? Like, they didn't do anything properly. And I mean, it showed.
Yeah, one thing I'm learning, just kind of, like I said, getting into this space, but also kind of getting more into like, the OSR and just kind of relearning, I guess, the way the game was played early on. You do have to kind of be just a little bit more dispassionate. And, I think you can almost kind of kill with love a little bit in some ways. It's just, you just present the world, and this is the way it is, and
yes,
you want to go here, that's fine. There might be danger here.
Yeah, well, yeah, there may be dragons, right? I would say that generally I am like, you fucked up, sometimes I'll be like, shit, extra circumstances, this character is involved with this higher power, or they got this kind of magic available to resurrect or whatever it is. Okay, but we actually have a thing to put a boundary on that. We have deaths, like the servant of the god of death. We actually have or reapers. That's what they are. They're reapers. And if you have found a way to come back like more than twice or something, yeah, there's a good chance a reaper or an inevitable will show up and stop all of that. So, and yeah.
Yeah,
Death is in the god of death from Deities and Demigods.
Well, it's our own. We have our own made up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like death and undead and something else.
Okay.
I can't remember. So, but under them or under him, he has lesser minions who are kind of, I wouldn't say demigods, but practically, right? Like the Reaper. Think of the Grim Reaper in our culture. He's definitely recognizable. And that's kind of the way it is for them. You fuck around too much. And what is that from Bill and Ted? Something about you dance with the Reaper. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Like, you can only come back so much, dude.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not a big resurrection guy. I've done it.
Me neither.
I did it. I allowed him to do it once because I kind of had in the back of my mind, like, okay, if you do this, you don't realize it now, but there's going to be a big impact in the world. And there was, like, it created, kind of like almost like a paradox in the world. And, really bad things happened, it let in all of these, for lack of a better word, like demons, devils into the world.
Yep.
Almost at the end, it's like it wasn't worth it, but I don't blame them for trying. I don't think resurrection should ever be cheap. I'm not saying don't ever do it, but just always think twice, because, when death starts to lose its meaning at the table, it's not nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I feel that way. And so does the rest of my table. It's like, no, death should be a thing. It's okay to lose a character. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, it's good. It's good character building.
Yeah.
As a player,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
also it's a learning lesson. For example, how you just had to TPK your whole party. Well, make better choices.
Exactly.
We've had Greg Gillespie on before, and he's made it comments like, don't make it so easy for me to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't make it easy.
Like, I didn't do anything super clever. I just, it was just all them, dropping plates. They're like, oh, whoops, and it was just like a slow car crash. And it was so funny because it, like, the game kept dragging out. It kept dragging out so bad, probably an extra hour, a couple of hours, because, like, some people aren't taking actions when they should, whatever it was. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and fudge that roll right there to hurry things along. Because I remember you were talking about fudge, fudge and dice came around in the talking circle. And yeah, I mean, I will admit, I fudged a little bit. I was like, no.
Everybody's fudged at one time or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, those giants hit a couple times more than they actually did. Just because, like, he was trying to not die, but everybody else was basically done. The whole encounter was basically over. He just didn't want to admit it. And I was like, no, he hit, you know.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I think I said in that, you know, we mentioned it, I think it was last week. Yeah, Luke West be like a Navy SEAL team, not like a team of SEALs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just you know, roll the dice out in the open. That way your players know, like, all right, we're getting a square deal, and you know what? The world is dangerous.
Double D brother Gronard just said the exact same thing. Roll in the open.
Yeah, roll in the open. Yeah, be merciless. Yeah, and it's not so much about being merciless. Like I said, I really did mean that when I said you should be dispassionate. You should, I don't want to say you should be rooting for the players, but you know, part of me is like, oh, it would be great if they were able to do this, but there's stumbling blocks in front of them that they have.
Yeah.
If they're going to go to this certain place, there's creatures here, there's things here. They have to understand that there's risk there. And I can't mitigate those risks just because, like, ooh, I want to nurse, you know, I want to nurse them along and make sure they get it. And yeah, you have to be prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice as a DM, which you just found out. And it's like, well, I just killed everybody and now I have to start over again. People think like, oh, if you're a DM who's bragging about that, you're a bad DM, because it's not something you should ever want or like brag about. It's it just kind of resets everything. And yeah, it's a bad situation, but it's usually based off of bad choices.
Yeah. Well, I agree 100. And what's funny is like, I like to play where if the bad guy's plot wasn't defeated, it continues. Like the bad guy, you know, basically wins.
Oh yeah.
And you know, point goes to evil or whatever. But that's now. So what they were doing was they were trying to get to a. They believe that the dragon was guarding a portal, you know, letting evil in or whatever it was. And so that portal is open still. You know, they didn't stop it. You know, the heroes did not win, and so those repercussions are now in the world. You know.
Yep, that's any good DM, and you sound like you're a good one. That's what you have to do. How much time has passed? Okay, well, this is what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when that happened, let's fast forward a couple of months. Okay. You know, you just kind of jot it down and like, all right, well, this is what they're in store for, you know? You know, otherwise it's kind of like a sitcom, you know, from back in the day where, you know, everything just kind of resets back to, you know, like a Simpsons episode or something.
Christmas right.
Again.
Yeah, like nothing happened.
Exactly. Like nothing happened. Do you guys play any, do you branch out into any other games?
Unfortunately, no. And one of the reasons I wanted to kind of get into 5th edition with my son, and maybe not with my main table, was I really want to start playing some of the like the indie creator, a bunch of my online kind of friends who have created all this 5th edition material. I want to play those, you know, like Greg from Irish Chronicles. I would love to play, you know, Padfoot Alley, you know, or something from, you know, Scrying Dutchman or something like that. That sounds like a blast. And also to help, you know, support what I like, you know, why not? So that's in the works. But yeah, otherwise, no. My table is, you know, set in their ways. I think there's not.
Yeah, I think that's more common than you might think. You know, because I've asked a couple of people that, and a lot of them are like, "No, we like vanilla D&D." You know, it's like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like some people that's their jam. You know, I think there are a lot of good games. Maybe if you like, you kind of like almost force them to like, you know, just try it once. You know, they might they might be okay, or at least, you know, some of them might. But you also don't want to make.
I've said it set. Yeah, right. And I've sat in at other tables and played other systems that I don't remember the names of, but like stuff like 6-sided dice kind of games, you know, with exploding dice and stuff like that. Great time. Had a really good time, and I really enjoyed seeing how other tables play. You know, that helped me out as a player and a DM.
Yeah, Crazy Mouse loves the exploding dice. Yeah,
I love exploding.
Whenever we try a new game, he's like, "Does this have exploding dice?"
I try to sneak him into games we're playing.
He's like,
that's me.
House roll this. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's balanced quite for exploding dice. But,
that's funny.
Now, veering sort of back into the world of comics, kind of, but not really. You kind of had a you had a run in with young Rippa Eric July on Twitter a little while ago. Do you want to give the Reader's Digest version of that encounter?
Oh, sure. Let's see. All right, so I'm sitting there on Twitter, kind of scrolling through, and like I don't really pay attention to Eric July. Just I'm not into what he's selling. But I saw him quote tweet somebody with a online friend of mine, B.A. Turner's. Something that B.A. Turner had said. He quote tweeted it and was characterizing him like, oh, he said this and that's not true. And I'm like, well, first of all, that doesn't sound like B.A. Turner at all to like make like accusations or shit talk, right? So maybe accusations, but generally not shit talk. And if he does, it's kind of like, higher brow. And so, all right, I'm like, all right, let me look at this. So I kind of go through the tweets that he was bitching about. And I was like, it's not here. Whatever he was, I can't remember what it is now, but whatever he was complaining about, B.A. Turner did not say. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me just send out a quick tweet right here where I'm like, show me where he said what you said he says. And then I also included a few arguments that I've seen floating around Twitter about Rippa and how he's very much about himself and he's not helping out the indie comic scene. And that, he's a brand and all this other shit. And he triggered the shit out of himself or whatever. I triggered him. And we went back and forth for, I don't know, I want to say a couple of hours. It seemed kind of prolonged. It was one of those back and forth, internet back and forths where doesn't really go anywhere. It was a lot of him.
He made a gesture at one point that kind of blew up in his face. All
right. So I guess the peak of it was kind of early on, and then the rest of it was him burning off his triggering. But he thought he would big league me, and he was like, "All right, let me go to this guy's profile. Oh, he's got a comic book. Let me click on that. Oh, he's funding on Fund My Comic. He's only got $300. He hasn't made a sale in 6 months or whatever it was." And so what I'm going to do? His goal is 1,000. He's only made 3. I'm going to give him $700. There you go. You funded. Go be great or whatever the fuck he said to me. And
that was exactly what he said. Go be great.
Sorry, I'm cussing. But yeah, he's like, go be great or whatever. And I'm like, all right. First of all, how about you keep your money and your insults? And why don't you answer my question of where did he say what you said he said? Or whatever to that effect.
To be clear, you refunded him the $700.
Yes. Yeah. So
then still hit your goal.
And then you went. I think when people knew how big of a badass move that was, I think everybody kind of flocked. And said, all right, let's go help this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the owner or one of the owners, Luke Stone. He's also a part of Arrow Comics. He I guess kind of saw what was going on and. If not, I alerted him to. I was like, "Hey, will you refund this? I don't want anything to do with this." And he was like, "Yeah." And, immediately it got refunded. And Eric July, to his credit, he said, "Hey, the gentleman refunded me my money." And then so he's like, "But I got all this other cash to throw around to all these other upset indie people." And that's what he did. He just like started doing this and. It just happened to be that the people that he was rewarding already knew him and already were involved with him in some way. So it was kind of like, it was really dumb and pathetic in my opinion, but that's another subject.
It is kind of, I kind of watch from a distance. I'm not, I'm just so busy with life and, this channel now that I don't get a chance to pay too close attention as I used to Comicsgate and all that. But it is kind of sad to kind of see like the breaking of the family. Cause I know Eric used to even come on occasionally like Ethan's show and they used to be, if they weren't like tight, they were at least friendly, I would say. And it's like, now you got this schism with him and then Yellow Flash. And it's like, I'm just, looking around and I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not emotionally. What's that?
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's a shame Rogan's not here tonight because he loves comics.
Yeah, he'd love
this whole interview is like totally right up his alley.
I'll show him Immortal Rising.
Yeah,
he may want to back that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't know it's great. Obviously, I'm Ethan kind of gave me a little bit of a break, had me on his show. I'm always going to kind of lean towards Ethan. I don't have anything personal against Eric July. I got the first 2 issues of ISOM and they were okay. Everybody was pretty hard on the first edition, the first issue, and
3D assets.
3D assets. Yeah. At the time I read it and I was just kind of like, well, this guy's just trying to start something. This is the first issue. You're setting things up. I guess I kind of knew it wasn't a world beater. And I got to say, like I say this, and I mean it, like your first issue is much better than his first issue.
Nice.
I really do have to say, like the artwork itself. I mean, the writing is tight, but the artwork is just leagues. I mean, leagues better than I saw him. I mean,
dude,
that's all I can say. Yeah.
Jose is on another level. And I don't think that he's really been recognized yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys,
especially with everybody loving anime and manga and all that stuff right now, everybody keeps saying it's like a marriage of anime and Western style. And nobody else is doing that.
Because I'm not real partial to manga or anime. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I actually respect the hell out of it. It's just not my personal taste.
How many pages is that book, Double D?
How many pages is this?
50?
I want to say it's like 50. Yeah. I think it's about. They have to be divisible by 4 for the printer, so it's like 52 or whatever.
To me, this from a style, it goes right up to the line for me as far as it's like you said, a good fusion. Because it's not completely bubblegum, manga or anime.
No,
it's got a colorful style, but it's not that Cal Arts bullshit. It's really cool. You're right. You're lucky to have this guy,
dude. And I'll tell you, I don't know. It seems very fortuitous. Just just the way we met and stuff was just kind of like. I don't know. It was just kind of out of nowhere. I was searching around, and then I think I saw him on maybe ArtStation, and I reached out, and he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get into comics, and I'm doing D&D commission work right now. So your project sounds great, and all this other stuff." And then he read it, and he saw the original artist's work and all that stuff. So he knew what he was getting into, and he's had fun, and he hasn't left my side. Even though I've had setbacks and restarts and all this other stuff. So he seems to be down as shit. And I think that the marriage of dark high fantasy and his art is perfect. The two really complement each other. And the way I approached this was I wanted it to feel like a classic fantasy novel, like a Dragonlance or Forgotten Realms kind of novel. I wanted it to feel that way, but only in a comic book. And I've heard in some of my reviews or some of the reviews that I've been given, that the prose feels good and it flows well. And that, it reminds them of either are you going to do a novel out of this? It's like, I haven't wrote a novel. I mean, I would, I guess, but, it's not off the table. But I just really enjoy it. One of the things that kept me in fantasy is the art. It's just so fantastical. I love fantasy art. And that's why I honed in on wanting to do a comic book, because it is not cheap and it is not easy. It's very labor intensive. So, it's a labor of love for sure. And
it's nice that you two found each other on the ground level so that you guys can grow together, you and Jose.
Right.
You guys could possibly both blow up at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds awesome. Great.
Yeah,
I like what you're saying.
Well, let's help that cause. Look in the description of the video if you don't mind, and you kind of like the way Immortal Rising 1 looks.
So you have 8 left of the first edition, correct? Is that what you said?
Oh,
earlier?
yes. Yeah, copies. Yeah.
Yep. And when does the second edition come out?
Well, remember we have the sign up page.
Yes. I need
so if you look in the description, you'll see the Indiegogo links to the sign up page. So just put your email there, and then you'll get notified. When Aaron's ready to launch. So let's get this thing going.
Let's make that happen.
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
please. Yeah. I mean, I'm coming to the tabletop people, you guys are into tabletop. Some of you are into comics as well. Maybe some anime lovers out there. This is a marriage of all of that. And, I think that if you're into that stuff and you're looking for some entertainment that's you haven't seen before, this is exactly this is what you're looking for, and give me some time to like let it grow too. Like, this is a series. This is not just contained. Although I will say, although this story is broken into 3, and moving forward, I'm going to reduce page count. I'll probably do more like one-off kind of stories and stuff. So, I mean, I'm addicted to this. I'm having a good time, and I don't plan on stopping this unless like people aren't interested in it anymore, So,
well,
go help me out.
Like I said, you have my recommendation. It's a good book. I forgot how much I liked it the first time, when I picked it, took it to work today and I read it at lunch. Tori, you snag it. Go to the Fund My Comic link. There's a couple left, so don't wait if you are interested.
Yeah, get that tonight.
It's a
what a great St. Patrick's Day gift.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Get a case of beer and Immortal Rising. Yeah,
that's right.
As you guys can tell, Aaron is the real deal. He's he's a gamer too, and like I said, this is a good fusion. That's why I thought he'd be perfect, to have on here.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on. It's been cool.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, I really wish Rogan would have been. He couldn't make it tonight, but man, this stuff is right up his alley. The artwork, the comics, everything.
Yeah, remind me Friday. I'll shoot him Immortal Rising 1 so he can read it. Then he'll probably want 1 and 2. I bet.
We got a super chat question.
Ooh, James, how you doing, James? Thank you again.
Yeah. Doc.
How does it compare to Conan or Berserk? Well, it's not quite Conan-esque. It's a little more the heroes, at least in this first issue. So some of them are elven, correct?
Yes. Yep. And everybody's like real starting out. Like, imagine first level ranger, first level cleric, first level fighter or whatever. That's what you're dealing with. And not only that, but none of these people know, like, they're all blindsided by this war of the gods that just crushes down on everybody, and it's like a trajectory towards this, one battlefield. And, there's some mystery in there. It's like, well, why do they want this? And what are they going there for? And all those things will be worked out. You'll like it.
Excellent. Yeah. Like I said, check it out, guys. Let's support independent folks. Like
yes,
Aaron.
please, because we all know all the mainstream stuff is garbage. It's either infiltrated by Marxist garbage, or it's being financed by ESG garbage, or like these people don't actually like the genres they're working in. Like, that's not true for indies. Like, I love what I'm doing. Yeah.
There's no walls of text in this, as I was reading it. It's tight. The dialogue's tight. The story gets across. You allow the artist to tell the tale too. It's a good fusion of the two, and you're not afraid to put your characters in a little bit of danger, even right away. So it's well,
you don't know who's going to live or die. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Just like in a good D&D game, you're not sure. They may not. That character you like may not make it to the next issue.
It's like an episode of Game of Thrones.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't fall in love with anybody. They might not be there next week.
Don't like them too much.
All right. Well, I think, we're about that went by quick. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Come on again, Aaron.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to talk to you again.
Yeah,
Gary, give me a holler. I'd love to be. Aaron has a YouTube channel too, and I have a link, I believe, for that as well. So subscribe to him.
Hit that subscribe button. Go check out Aaron.
Yeah,
stuff.
I interviewed
after our show.
after.
Yeah, I interview tabletop guys, all indie stuff. Between like Troll Lord Games is one of my bigger videos. Like, he's been on before, and they actually contacted me, wanted to come on again. I guess they're gonna be pushing something coming in April or something. But anyways, I've got tabletop stuff, I've got comic book stuff, novels, even indie music. So whatever, and most of it's like fantasy kind of genre based. So yeah, it just
nice.
Click on it and find what you like.
Ask the troll lords if they'd ever come on here.
Yeah?
I haven't. I haven't gotten the gumption to ask them.
Do it. You'd be surprised. And he's man,
we play Castles and Crusades. That's our house system right now.
See,
it's
they
a
would
good
love
solid system. Yeah. Jeff from Denkar, $5 Canadian.
G'day,
What would you say is your favorite thing about each edition of D&D? Well, you played mostly second and third, Aaron. So do you want to handle that part? Go ahead.
I would say my favorite thing about second edition would probably be, I don't know, I really enjoyed like when you get to like 9th level and you're like Lord, kind of like Lord status, and now suddenly you have you're buying a keep, you're running a small fiefdom or fiefdom or however you pronounce it. Like it was kind of cool, like you get minions and you're managing things. That's one of the things that I really liked about second edition that they don't do in 3.5 very well at all. I know they have like leadership feat and stuff like that, but that's an investment in that game. You get to a certain level, you're using a feat, you better mean it, unless you're like doing some min-maxy bullshit. So, and then in 3.5, I like how customizable it is. Like how you can, you have like trees, you got like, I'm getting into double wield fighting. So here's the tree for that, or sword and shield fighting, or I'm a dex guy and here's a tree for that, So yeah, that's the two editions that I've played, and I've read. When I first got into it, I had some first edition books, but I never played first edition. Like I had the Cyclopedia, that was amazing. That was a big influence on my just gaming. I don't know,
Right.
like how they do Immortals, that stuff, all that stuck. So, yeah.
I would say I'll add on to that. Basic expert to me, that's kind of like
Good
a
dude.
craftsman. It's a craftsman home. It might not stand up to like a mansion, but you get these beautifully built like craftsman homes. That's kind of what I compare it to. It's just, it's got this elegant, simplicity to it.
Yeah.
And it's the artwork too was just so important in those early editions.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm old enough. I actually grew up with those, and it just captured your imagination. Yeah,
Dude,
first edition was just balls to the wall. I mean, it's just like you come out of that and you're like, all right, well, I'm ready to graduate, and you don't really realize that at the time what you had. So you're ready to go, and all of a sudden you're looking at the monster manual. You got monsters with tits and all kinds of stuff, and it's like it's just like, all right, I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's
say
true.
something about second edition.
Yeah, well, they did not mind showing boobs. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. So like second edition, some of the stuff I just remember, in the 90s, like like the expansions like Dark Sun, Dragonlance, the Forgotten Realms and stuff. I really enjoyed
Birthright. Yeah, we've been doing Birthright since it came out in 1995. Still going.
Very cool.
Almost 30 years. Yeah.
Planescape, that was a big one too. Those are all really good stuff.
It's kind of weird that all the settings like just exploded in second edition.
Yeah,
and
it really did.
Really, just other than maybe like Eberron, which I never really kind of got into in third edition. I guess I respected it, for what it was, but definitely not my cup of tea. But you had all these kick-ass settings in second edition, and I don't know what they were. I don't know what they were doing or what they were feeding them, but man, they kicked out some really good shit, didn't they?
A lot of Mountain Dew and Doritos. I've got a player. I've got a player that's he loves to pull from Eberron rules all the time. Like. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm like, dude, are we just playing Eberron now? Like, what's going on? It's not that bad.
Why are there robots on every corner?
Yeah, exactly. It's like changes things, doesn't it?
As far as like, I'll finish up here just because fourth edition. Fourth edition was a good tactical combat game, but it got real clunky at mid to high levels. Like it was hard. I remember it being hard for me to keep combats.
Yeah.
Just keep things organized. Like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's got a plus 37 to hit, and it's like the inflation in fourth edition was just insane.
Too much.
Having said that, yeah, it was good as a tactical combat simulator, but they really did de-emphasize like the traditional aspects of, you know, what D&D was. So that's obviously why people hated it. I didn't hate it. It had good points and bad points, but it, you know, after a while it just kind of ran its course, as did 5th edition.
Yeah.
And 5th edition was good. It's good. It's easy to comprehend. Advantage, disadvantage is a pretty good solid mechanic. It's at low levels, you can have a pretty good time with it. It's just when you start getting into you know, the mid levels, the power balance really does flip to the players. In my opinion, it just gets harder. Really? It gets harder for the DM to challenge him, you know, like they would normally would, other than just like, all right, well, I gotta amp this freaking monster up to maximum. I gotta put 6 of them in here, you know, just to make it a challenge. You know, I'm not trying to kill him, but I also don't want him to get bored just because, you know, like, oh, all right. Well,
I get it. I threw 9 frost giants at my party. I get it. Like,
yeah.
You know, it also sounds like that was too many.
In 5th edition. In 5th edition, nine frost giants in 5th edition. That's a fair fight with a normal party.
It should be. It should be a good fight.
Yeah, it's pretty fair, actually. I would say, because they can.
TPK.
Man, can they do damage? Yeah. So there's probably good and bad in every edition. You know, the simplicity of the original is you can't really go wrong with that. But some people don't. Some people want more options. You know, some people are rolling the character and they're like, well, is this all there is? You know, so that's why I would recommend something like Greg's Dragonslayer game, which kind of fuses like the basic and expert with a little bit of 1st edition, as he says, like the chrome of 1st edition kind of sprayed onto it. It's a
good point.
Good system.
So we were talking about like Dark Sun and Dragonlance and stuff. And I'm pretty sure you're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but was it Margaret Weiss, dude, or Weiss? What should we do about this? Dragon is like, don't play it. I was like, oh, burn.
There it is.
Margaret. How upset must they be? You know, like that's their early career, and they're just getting shit on. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is we're definitely going to cover this. Yeah, somebody on Twitter, Dragonlance Nexus, said looking for tips on how to run Dragonlance in 5e. Margaret Weiss, one of the don't creator of Dragonlance, one of the creators. Don't. That is what we call a sick burn.
Sick
burn. Yeah, that had me chuckling. I was laughing my rear end off.
Poor Watsy. And they have no clue. They still don't know what happened or why they're failing, I bet.
Yeah. Well, there's no people that are looking like, well, maybe they'll pull out of it. With who? They don't
No.
They don't have
and
any
then they
talent
just
left.
shit on Joe Manganello too. Like that could have saved them. And we're just gonna poop in his hand. It's like, okay, bye.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, in a little bit, you can jump into the chat. We'll be going through that little video Joe Manganello did on 5th edition. He is not impressed. So,
I need to watch that. I saw he did an interview and all that stuff. I haven't seen it yet though.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, Aaron, we will let you go, guys. Remember, again, all the links are in the chat. Sign up. There's only a couple left of the first one, but definitely sign up for the second one, the email list, and then you can determine if this is for you. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I appreciate
anything else? Any final words?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Man, I've wanted to come on your show forever, and now I have like a solid reason to, something to shill, and I really appreciate it. So thank you for having me on.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you launch, hit me up on Twitter, and we'll sneak you back in.
Ooh,
and
I love it.
There you go.
I will.
Yeah, we'll get you on here because, like I said, you're not just comics. You like I said, you walk the walk. So you do. Some gaming,
actually.
So.
In the future, and I'm probably going to work with Victor Gorchev. I don't know.
Scrying Dutchman.
I don't have anything in writing, but I have unofficially put my hooks into him. He's going to help me come up with a source book for my campaign setting. And
cool.
I would like to, so then people can say, oh, here's a job class I don't have. Let me rip that out of there and put it into here, or even just for fans of the story who want to see some of the back like some of the details of this or that, it'll be there. So,
Victor's a good dude. He's very prolific. So yeah,
dude, he's only beginning. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
I love seeing somebody just start, and know that they got a rocket strapped to them. So
yeah.
Anyways,
he's a good,
all right,
good one. Good one. Yep.
I'll get out of here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a great night.
Yep. Have a good one, Aaron. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Right on. Later on.
See ya.
I like him.
Yeah, Aaron's a good dude.
Yep.
Well, I hope you guys 1.5 listening. That's very good.
Nice ass. Everyone pound that like button.
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed, hit us up. Hit up Aaron on his channel too. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron was a good guest. Like I said, I enjoyed talking to him on his channel too.
Do you know who he looked like to me?
Who's that?
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Like Aquaman guy, right?
Oh yeah,
guy?
Yeah, nice.
I thought
I think he would be. I think he would be pretty flattered over
I think
that.
he had the same face.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. Boy, his head just swelled.
Hey, that's the way it goes there. Thank you, Luke West. How are 117 people watching and only 18 likes? Go hit that like button, people.
Yep. Like your life depended on it.
I know, Jiminy Christmas.
Hit the likes, and I'll tell you the big secret guest for next week.
Hit that up, Double D. Let us know.
Yeah. All right.
Someone said we're up to 75.
There we go. Yeah. Probably just needed a refresh.
Wait, now we're saying 49.
It's the higher. It's the higher. They don't take them away. All right, guys. So we got a little bit more to get into tonight. Like I said,
tell me, Double D, what's going on next week?
What's going on next week? Well, I am happy to have a guest on next week. I've been kind of tracking him down, and he said, "Yep, I can do it." I am going to have on to interview 7 p.m. usual time next week. Sandy Peterson, creator of Call of Cthulhu.
Look at that.
The man himself.
Yep.
Let me make him bigger here.
Yeah.
He needs to be bigger.
A little less you, a little
a little
more
less
him.
of me.
Yeah.
A little more of Sandy. The man. You guys can we'll take a couple of questions, of course, from the chat. Anything you wanted to ask Sandy about not only Call of Cthulhu but Peterson games. Yeah, I think he's down with talking to me. I kind of I like to feel people out a little bit because I understand people think I'm controversial, but
I don't think you are.
Well, I know you don't, but in these circles, I guess I am a little bit. And I don't ever want that to rub off on anybody, but I was kind of checking out Sandy's Twitter, and I don't think Sandy cares very much. He's just does his own thing. He has Peterson games, so I'm like, I bet you this guy would love to talk to a young scamp like me. And he said, yeah, I'd love to. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hope everything works out. But as of now,
Wednesday.
Yep. Again, if you just tuned in, the man himself, the legend. I'm putting Sandy on the Mount Rushmore. I kind of have to because I made a video about the most transformative RPGs of all time. Of course, Dave and Gary are those are the first two, but man, I really think Sandy's there too, because Call of Cthulhu just kind of solidified the fact that you can really take this game out of the dungeon and be successful. So he is right up there.
That's a big guest.
Yep.
It's a good get.
Good
as
get.
we say in the business.
Yeah. Good get. All right. Let's do some EFAPing, shall we?
Yeah, hit us up.
All righty. So looks like we still got almost 120 strong here. All right.
That ain't how being Panther figured it out.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna have to mute the desktop here, so your little sound effects will have no effect for right now. But let us
Joe Mangan.
All right. So yeah. So I you guys saw the tweet from From Margaret Weiss. Yeah, telling people don't bother with 5th edition Dragonlance. Ouch. Well, she wasn't even the only one to pile on 5th edition. The boys up in Seattle, the boys and girls up in Seattle, they're having a rough time of it. All right, so this comes from the character sheet on comicbook.com. Subscribe there if you so desire.
Good night, Luke.
Yep. Take care, Luke. Let's see what Joe Manganello has to say. Again, this is from the character sheet on comicbook.com.
Joe Manganello has some thoughts about the direction of Dungeons & Dragons. In a recent interview with our parent site comicbook.com, Manganello says that D&D is going downhill and blames the game's departure from its roots on Mike Mearls being pushed out as creative director of D&D back in 2019. Now you can hear his full thoughts in this clip.
You know, Mike Mearls and Rodney Thompson, Peter Lee, Rob Schwab, what you know, you would call Project Iowa. Project Iowa was towards the end of 4th edition. They put together a little crack team to create a new edition of the game, which they thought was going to be the end. They thought it was going to be over. Judging by the numbers of 4th edition, the vitriol towards, towards that edition, they just thought it's over. And everyone had really left the game. Most people were playing Pathfinder, or even more people were playing Pathfinder. And so, you know, Mike Mearls was put in charge of this team to try to figure out what to do next. And they started polling the fans that were left over. But mind you, at that time, you know, whoever was left during 4th edition, really, they were diehard lovers of the game. And so when
Well, I think a lot of people just went back to like 3.5. I think a lot of people that tried 4th edition, it wasn't for them, just said, ooh, that's not for me. And then Paizo came along with Pathfinder, which basically was just an updated version of 3.5. Overkill Joe mentions Pundit. Yeah, he didn't mention RPG Pundit. That would ruffle up Pundit's feathers, because Pundit is pretty adamant that, you know, he did a little bit more than just a little bit of consulting. He said that he worked with Mike Mearls. Look, I believe him. I mean, I don't think he would lie. So Joe is saying that them shit canning Mike Mearls, no bueno.
you reach out and you ask a really concentrated fan base what to do next, you're going to get good answers, because they're people that have been with this thing from the jump, and this is what's wrong. And so the feedback was really fantastic for what went into 5th edition, and Mearls was smart enough, he listened to it all. And so, created this edition that then became the most popular tabletop gaming a system of all time. I mean, it's not even close. The 50 million people during COVID that were playing, that mind you is way less now, but that peak 50 million during COVID, that's Mike Mearls and company. They made a better edition than even Gary did. You have to give all credit to Gary and Arneson and kind of the gang in the Midwest, but what Mike Mearls did and company did with that game is mind-blowing. And then of course, the Twitter mob rises up and with the pitchforks and the torches, and it was right in that weird kind of spot when all that was at its height, and everybody was really listening to the mob in that way. And
yeah, so he's referring to Mike Mearls being canceled as part of, I think we went over it about a month ago. He got caught up in the whole Zach Smith thing, because he didn't immediately disavow Zach. He did eventually, which was a real shit thing to do. So in some ways, Mike Mearls got what's coming to him karmically. Also remember too that Mike Mearls made that tweet, saying anybody that's using math to, gatekeep women out of the hobby, you're fired from D&D, when nobody was really saying that, which kind of had a lot of us wondering, like, what, how do you feel about women in gaming, Mike? Yeah, exactly. What are you projecting here? So Mike Mearls is a very talented guy. I remember him from 3rd edition, some of the third-party stuff he was putting out. It was pretty good. And yeah, you can't deny that the success initially of 5th edition But hey, when you lay down with these rats, you know, you're gonna get bit, you're gonna get fleas, and that's what Mike Mearls found out. So while I understand someone like Joe who has to be a little kind of navigate the minefield and can't say too much, Mike Mearls made his own bed. Maybe if he'd have fought back a little harder, the whole company wouldn't be in this position. But people like him just knuckled under, and now look where we're at.
There were some people within the company that saw their opportunity to try to go for Mike's head and get him out of the driver's seat, and they were successful, and they were allowed.
Leftists. He won't say it, but just unhinged leftists.
Allowed to do it, and since then, it was kind of like I told Mike at one point, it's like Jimmy Johnson winning back-to-back Super Bowls with the Cowboys, and kicking him out, replacing him with Barry Switzer, and then just dismantling the team. I mean,
gotta remember, Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl with those Cowboys. People always forget that. He did win a Super Bowl, but point taken, Joe.
I mean, that's kind of what it was like. It was like there were a bunch of people that then saw their opportunity to try to take credit for what Mike did, try to launch and alter the game into a new edition that, and it just has, it's gone downhill ever since.
Yep. So he do not like the sacking of Mike Mearls or 5th edition. Now they canceled his, was it Dragonlance chat? Was that the show that Joe was working on? Yeah, they pulled the plug on that.
I'll keep my eye on it.
Yeah, I do believe, but that just happened recently.
Travis,
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously he has a, hey, Griffin True Silver, how are you? Yeah, I mean, they obviously burned the guy, but so he was probably felt this way all along, but was like, well, I'll play nice. And I mean, he's not telling us anything we don't already know, but it is kind of good to see. You're seeing people now like Margaret Weiss. You're seeing people like Joe, these celebrities, that they love to tout as being in the D&D fold. Well, I guess they're not going to be. Something tells me they ain't going to be trumpeting 6th edition or whatever the hell they're calling it.
Is there another edition coming out?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's their updated 5th. The Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, like 5.5 or 6th edition. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. It's like I said, it might do well at first, but I don't think it's going to have legs, and I really think it's going to expose the rickety foundation. It can't be good. You have dumb people working on it. Dumb people and woke people.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew Mercer, and I am depressed.
Matthew, you're not depressed, are you? How can a face like that be depressed? Some people said like he keeps touching his face. That's like a sign that you're lying.
It references a Seinfeld episode, like when you talk about like how are things going, where you touch your face, and how high up you go is how bad it is.
He gets up to the eye. He doesn't. He goes above the nose.
It's bad.
I think a number of folks out there can commiserate.
He looks like, if you put old time glasses on him, he looks like someone's grandma.
Well, with that shawl on, yeah. For sure. Yeah, put some Coke bottle glasses on him.
I've had a number of things that I should be celebrating in my life as of late, and I have a hard time engaging and fully embracing with a lot of them. I'm sure some of you have noticed I've been slowly pulling away from socials over the past couple of years. It's kind of part of a self-care.
Years? Jiminy Christmas. It's like a slow retreat.
Some string of personal and family tragedy, as well as dealing with recurring back pain, which is surging now as we speak, which is great.
All right, you got nothing on me, Mr. Mercer. A spinal fusion was it L5 S1? That lowest level. I had spinal fusion back in 2000.
My mama called. She loves the Afghan.
Exactly, Nixit. Good to see you, buddy.
But I keep myself grounded with the joys that I hold on to, namely my wife,
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. What's going on with those fingers? Did they get caught in a door? What's going on there?
We're gonna look at that. That's his wife, by the way. That's Marisha Ray, fellow Critical Role player. Boy, I wonder if she has any influence on him here. Yeah,
that's her nail polish.
Yeah,
dog, and
yeah, drink it in.
Honestly, rolling dice every Thursday with my friends. Those are the things that keep me.
Gotcha. Gotcha with the touch. Gotcha with the fingernail polish. Gotcha.
Oh boy.
All right, so I made this point in the video. Maybe I wasn't as explicit in the video because it's in that format. But I guess maybe I'm call me old school, but I guess I always look to see who's in this person's life who would let him do this. Like if Mrs. D was upstairs and I said, "Hey, Mrs. D, go get your nail polish. I'm going to paint my fingernails red. Oh, go get that granny shawl blanket. I'm going to fire up a video telling the world how depressed I am." What do you think Mrs. D would do?
She would start. Oh, double D, stop it. No, you're not.
Yeah, she'd be like, "Hold on here. Time out. Let's talk about this before you humiliate yourself."
Let's get Crazy Mouse over here for an intervention.
Yeah. Unless humiliation was the purpose. And I firmly do believe that there are women out there that do not mind seeing their men being subservient like this in public. I'm not saying, and listen, I'm not saying if you're depressed, you should just suck it up. Get help, obviously. Get all the help you need. But you don't need to do whatever this is. This is not good. And it's just so odd. So he's depressed, but as many of you who saw my video or saw this tweet already know, what is he depressed about?
Let me tell you something, Double D.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's pretend Crazy Mouse is down in the dumps. Do you know what could solve that? Something from the grill.
Yep. Yeah. Let's go have a beer. Let's go. Let's grill something. It's just. Boy, it just shows me that he doesn't really have a support structure. Again, who takes away your support structure? Sometimes I'm not making any accusations here, but okay.
Going at times because it's real rough out there.
Oh, real. He's getting to the point.
These days, the world is full of terrors.
Who's he looking at?
I don't know that weird far away.
It's her in the background going like this.
Yeah. Keep going.
None as prominent and as noisy these days as the awful fucking war in Gaza.
Oh, come on.
Ever mounting atrocities that are being committed against innocent civilians. The Palestinian families that have been displaced and forced into nightmarish humanitarian crisis.
Now that last 10 seconds, that was just acting.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just acting there. I mean, from the delivery to the eye contact with the camera, holy smokes.
To the change of voice and breath. His acting coach would be happy right now.
Yeah.
Remember in Groundhog Day when he took piano lessons and became a master?
Yes.
That's what's happening right now.
I want to tell him like that scene in 8 Men Out in the courtroom when Buck Weaver gets up. I batted 329. And the guy's like, sit down, Buck. Nobody wants to hear about your batting average.
Someone just texted, it's gone now because of those last couple messages, but someone kicked in that the script kicked in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he just goes on here.
So much. And I can't help but feel empty and lost in a lot of it.
Oh my God. It's just so bad. What do you do? How do you solve a problem like Matthew? I don't know.
Exploding dice.
America's DM, brung low.
I haven't had the spoons to really engage with.
Yeah, spoons. That's like a psychological term, I guess.
You got the James gang.
Give him up. Go up. Go ahead. Give him one. There you go. There are no innocent people in Gaza. Yeah, it's a quagmire over there. And honestly, about as far into that topic as I'll go is that, like, look, you F around and you will find out. Okay, if you are going to launch your attack and do some, let's just face it, some pretty bad things. Do not be surprised, when your house is turned into rubble. I mean, that isn't even like, oh, I'm for or against it. It's just like, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. And maybe that was part of the plan to get people like Matthew on their side with dumb videos like this. But, look, it's half a world away. You should never be depressed over something that is happening halfway across the world.
Unless your family lives there.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Granny, I'm going on my show tonight. Can I borrow your shawl?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, people don't really... and the reason he did this is the Critical Role fans, I mean, they're not necessarily gamers, as we all know, but they demanded he do this. Critical Role has made him a millionaire probably a couple times over. Has made all those people probably either millionaires or near millionaires, and they know where their bread is buttered. So
is he trying to look like he's from Winterfell? I'm trying to think, like, is he role playing this?
I think he really did want to look kind of a little pathetic.
It's working.
And no man, especially one who has a wife, should want to look like this. Now, there may be times when you do, unbeknownst to you, but you shouldn't, seek that out. Yeah, not my country, not my problem. Yeah, Hungar, I think that there's quite a few people who believe that. And look, even if you don't believe that, to get depressed over it is just a little weird, to me. So it's just, but look, there was a purpose, and you saw the acting in the middle of that. And I firmly do believe, people ask, oh, is Critical Role scripted? Probably soft scripted. This was rehearsed. It may not have been scripted, but this was rehearsed.
Well, the cue cards are up to the right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good old Marisha Ray, or whatever the hell her name is. Yep. Yeah.
That look that she's giving right there with the clenched teeth and the side eye to the camera, as if to say, that's my man.
Mm-hmm.
That's my man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
As he's in tears in this picture, almost. Good Lord. Guys, look, there's times in your life as a man you can show emotion. There's times in your life as a man, you can shed tears.
Brian's song.
Death of a pet. Somebody's got a really bad illness, death of a parent, of course, any family member.
An unexpected death of a
parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, any death is, worthy of tears, but any beloved family, let me just say, any beloved family member. Yes. I think I knew where you were going.
Death of King Kong.
Death of King Kong, yeah. I'm trying to think some of the other. I cried at the end of, when I was, I think 9 years old, I cried at the end of Rocky 2. Not Rocky 1. I think I was a little too young to understand that. But it was just the right age. I was like 8 or 9. And I remember my brother-in-law, at the time he was dating my sister. He laughed at me. And then he felt like shit. He was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He was like...
Travis, you said at Old Yeller. I was about to say Old Yeller, but Double D said Death of a Pet, so I did not. But that's the same exact thing. Yeah.
Overkill Joe watching Godzilla try to run. Horse scene, never-ending story. Yep. Dice Tales, it's not okay to cry during Brian's song. Oh, come on, Dice Tales. What do you... Get a heart. Do it in the privacy of your own house. And certainly don't fire up a a live stream and go, hey guys, guess what? I just watched Brian's song. Like this guy. Yeah, there's very few that you would want to shed tears over, but they're out there. You get sentimental. Dice Tales, I cried at the end of Mothra. Well, good for you. All right. Do you guys, we've veered into comics a little bit with Aaron, but he is a legit gamer. Do you guys want to do a little e-fapping of Gundam's video on Sweet Baby Inc. video games?
I thought you were going to say Sweet Baby Ray's.
Not Sweet Baby Ray's.
I'm getting
Yeah. Sweet Baby Inc. Yes. A consulting company who is poisoning the RPG industry. I'll tell you what, if you guys want to do that, give me a 1 in the chat.
Well, Double D, give me an alternative.
Well,
is it a 1 or we end the show? What are we talking about here? What's the number 2?
All right, well, number 2 is I do have a Garibay video. That's why I didn't want to say it, because everybody's going to go, 2.
People talking about barbecue sauce.
Now, look, we could do both. Gundam is a great YouTuber. Yeah, I think everybody.
We got a whole bunch of
yeah. We'll do it. And guys, we can get into Garibay too. I tell you what, I'll make you all happy. We'll watch a little bit of Gundam's video on Sweet Baby Inc. The shenanigans they're up to. Goes without saying, I'm sure a lot of you already are. Go over and subscribe. If
Gundam looks like Shogun. Can I tell my quick Shogun story?
Real quick, yeah.
I have a brother who Shogun, the original, came out in like
80s.
80s,
Mm-hmm.
early 80s.
Yeah.
And this nincompoop thought that there was full nudity in Shogun on like ABC. And I was like, absolutely not. To prove his point, he went over to our family computer and typed in Shogun nudity. And all of a sudden, Brian in the Park is up. Big on number 2.
Sold. I'll just go out for a smoke, Brian.
He downloaded a freaking virus when he did that to our family computer.
Yeah.
And at that point, our youngest children were like 5. KG was probably 5 or 6. Jiminy Christmas, I swear to God.
Well, that's your brother's a bit of a knucklehead. And then for reference, there's no frontal nudity in the original Shogun.
This was on ABC.
ABC in the 80s.
Like that, right.
Yeah. Didn't get into nudity until you started to see Dennis Franz's ass in NYPD Blue.
Which was in the 90s.
Yeah, and nobody wanted to see that.
Well, it looks like Sweet Baby Dubs have finally shown their cards. While some were more covert and immediately hid their accounts, others decided to go to war with gamers.
Good luck.
Have you learned
I love that one.
nothing from Gamergate? On February 28th, Niche Gamer covered a Steam curator that made it their mission to warn gamers if Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in the creation of said game they were interested in. Keep in mind that this group has a goal of letting people know about the games that Sweet Baby Inc. worked on.
So Sweet Baby Inc., for those of you that don't know, they're like a consulting company, and I think they're into they do. I think they actually do content for video games too. And these aren't just like, as you'll see, these aren't like just rinky-dink games, obscure ones. These are like big ones, and the people who run it are insanely woke.
We are not, in any means, a group that is trying to bubble Sweet Baby Inc. or even convince people to not buy any game that they are working on. And the group also takes this information directly from Sweet Baby Inc.'s website.
So this is a curator on Steam who kind of does something kind of like our RPG list and just says, hey, if you want to avoid any game that Sweet Baby Inc. was consulted on or had a hand in writing, these are the games. And this guy essentially just went to their site and, just put it there. Well, that anytime you do that, it drives them crazy. Just see how they react to libs of TikTok, who just all's she does, or at least all she used to do, was just repost, insane leftists on TikTok. They do not like being exposed. So we'll see what they did to this curator on Steam.
So there's nothing really nefarious going on here. Well, the devs at Sweet Baby Inc. didn't see it that way. In fact, they didn't take too kindly to this and did what progressives and the criminally weak always do. Try to drum up a cancel mob. Except this time, they played themselves and only brought more attention to the Sweet Baby Inc. detector. Delicious. Kyle was among the first to pick up on this because the dev made the foolish mistake of going after him in the past.
Working in AAA is fun because there'll be people dedicated to making right-wing conspiracies about your job. And that's normal. Take this guy, for example. No Life doesn't know how games are made, probably musty, dedicates an inordinate amount of time posting to an audience of nobody about us. Brace yourselves for this guy. It might not be him, but it'll be close.
You'd be an expert in harassment, huh, boy? Hope you're as sure as you were that I'm right-wing, musty, and have an audience of nobody. The light's on now, scurry.
Stand, it's gone.
Didn't work out.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
The Steam curator harassment group Sweet Baby Inc. Detected is led by a person, Caboostis Rambo. Here's them trying to be slick, so they...
Note how he's from Brazil. So all this company just jammed full of woke, insanely woke people are trying to get some poor dude from Brazil canceled.
Don't get reported. Even with the discriminatory language filed off, the group itself still fails the code of conduct. Anyway, report the fuck out of this group. And report the creator, since he loves his account so much.
Gone forever. Interesting. Targeting a minority with a harassment campaign. How progressive of you, Chris. So the guy who made the group to let people know what games your studio is factually working on is the villain. And you trying to get him banned off Steam and lose all of his games and his 13-year account. You're the hero. Yeah! Chris then blocked Caboostis. When someone from Sweet Baby Inc. hates you, it shows that you're probably on the right side. Of course, Sweet Baby Inc.'s Chris locked his account right after blocking Caboostis. I guess those nobodies sure did add up. These people are always so smug and sanctimonious when they think that they have the upper hand or greater numbers behind them. But once the pendulum swings in the opposite direction, they cry foul and hide their heads in the sand, praying that this all blows over and they can go back to making crap for video games, while breaking their arm to pat themselves on the back, pretending that no minority did anything before them. Caboostis made a Steam page for the crime of making a group letting people know what game Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in. And I only wish that Caboostis made this sooner so I could have known more ahead of time, because I wouldn't have bought Spider-Man 2 had I known. Within hours...
They also did this game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which I think opens with, it's a cutscene of Harley Quinn just killing Batman, like putting a gun to Batman's head and like killing him. That's how they opened this game. Needless to say, it has done terrible. That was just a couple of months ago too, I think.
Is it authorized by like?
Oh yeah,
DC?
yeah, no, it's official, yeah. But when you get these people working on it, nobody wants to play it because it's just like D&D 5th edition. It's shit now. And they will not be able to make anything good for it going forward. Snake Oil Sean, how you doing, man? He was the man with some largesse, I think, who bought all those memberships last.
Oh, that's thank you.
I believe it was. Yeah, $5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. The more I've heard about SBI, Sweet Baby Inc., makes me think about all the sensitivity readers for the 5e D&D books and how garbage those products became. Yeah, I was going to touch on that. Absolutely. It's one and the same. It's the same racket. You get also, like in your company that you work for, anybody who's in the DEI department, it's the same racket. It's like a big umbrella. These are the least talented people. Look, if you had talent, you'd be making games on your own. You'd be a star developer. You'd be a known writer, wouldn't you? Instead of just coming in like, Tony Soprano and being like, nice game you got there. be a shame if something happened to it. Once you write the lead character as a black female, lesbian, trans, whatever, that's what these people do, and it's a shame because quality is going down the tubes, verifiably. And yeah, it is happening in role playing. That's a great point, Sean.
News outlets and online personalities picked up on Sweet Baby's strong-arm tactics. They wielded all the power of an emaciated Antifa member on hunger strike.
Sweet Baby Inc. employees advocates for diversity and inclusion while trying to censor a Brazilian user from Latin America. I don't think this will improve their reputation. Cabustus? Oh, and by the way, I'm not a Latinx. We hate this term. You hear that, Sweet Baby Inc.? Sweet Baby Inc. employees have begun inciting harassment campaigns against the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam curator.
Grums even stepped in.
Wow, I looked at Sweet Baby Inc. detected, and here are the games they are found linked to this Cancel Pig campaign.
Grums, for those who don't know, was a Blizzard developer back when Blizzard was actually the shit, when Warcraft originally launched on PC and everybody lost their lives by playing this game and never going outside. And he's been outspoken for years about the dumpster fire that is known as modern gaming. But anyway, his tweet brought something to my attention. One, Sweet Baby was involved with
Gotham Knights.
I wasn't 100% sure, so I cut a whole segment on
Gotham Knights
from my last video. The fact that they were brought back to work on Sushi Squad after the failure of
Gotham Knights
is amazing. Two, they were involved in the worst Bethesda game to date, Starfield. You might think I'm being facetious, but I'm really not.
That's the one that Gavin Morgan was playing the hell out of. I love it.
Were they running on watermelons?
It looked like it, didn't it? You get screamed at by girl bosses in that game constantly, I guess.
That's why Gavin probably loved it.
Yes, yeah, I was going to say it's up his alley.
Starfield was so bad, the modding community gave up on fixing it. Let that sink in. People that fix Morrowind threw their hands up.
There you go. There you go. Drink her in, fellas. Drink her in. That is a strong woman. Strong woman.
But this shit. Stop him! 3, Forspoken. Oh my God. The dialogue in that game was so bad, it was painful. Forspoken sold so poorly, it closed down the damn studio that made it. How Sweet Baby walked away from that fire without so much as a scratch is also amazing. Now we've got the Sushi Side Squad failure. Come on now. Okay, here's where the story gets a little interesting and annoying and retarded. So if you're not in the mood for dumb crap, I suggest you leave. Felix. I featured they, them in my most recent video on Sweet Baby. Well, the Lynx is back again, and as always, is an absolute bellend. The rabbit hole on this human is so deep, I'm not even really getting into it. We're scratching the surface, then I'm leaving. You want to find out more, you waste your life. I don't get paid enough for this. The too long didn't read. Felix was a woman 6 years ago, but now it's a they, them. Oh my God. Let's just move on. Here's short fat otaku from 2017 to explain to you the life and times of Felix.
My heartstrings and
Is that Maya Kramer?
I just want to hear more about it, and luckily I've got the perfect person to talk to today. I am joined by Felix Kramer, the
It is Maya Kramer,
known as Secret Legend. But you've got some special
Yeah,
announcements.
that's
I
Maya
saw some
Kramer.
secretive
Her,
tweets from
Felix
the
is what she changed her name to.
Yeah, do you wanna
Why
talk
the
about that?
fuck is she here?
Right, we were known
She's
as
like a
Secret
living
Legend,
hack.
today we're announcing
She's also
a new
gained at least 50 pounds since I've last seen her. I met her once at a con like 10 years ago. She was actually like a decent human at one point. She did.
All these people were decent humans about, well, maybe they weren't. They hid their insanity well. Probably about 8 or 9 years ago, and when the mask came off, oof.
Overkill Joe
Brutal.
just says as charming as Captain Marvel. I can't lie. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was that actress.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a bit of a resemblance there, isn't there?
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, now it's just hitting me.
I was like,
now it's hitting me.
Yeah.
Like she kind of let herself go, and when she started letting herself go, she went into like the health at any size bullshit. She was like, it's just natural for women to get fat when they get old. It's like, no, you can work out. And just no. You know, this is just it's patriarchy. It's patriarchy. It's patriarchy, guys. And then like,
honestly, a huge surprise.
after she lost all of her natural beauty due to getting fat, she like shaved the side of her head and dyed it green. She started fucking Zoe Quinn. She was one of the people that she cheated on. Like Zoe cheated on Aaron with was her.
Now, Brendan Green, welcome. Thank you.
And she now lives in Vancouver as an indie game dev. She works for Silver String Media.
Vancouver is one of those grounds.
Vancouver, Canada, or Vancouver, Oregon?
Canada. I'm sure Vancouver. Is it Washington or Oregon? I can't remember. I think it might be Washington. It's probably just as bad, but just on a smaller scale. But yeah, Vancouver, Canada attracts these nutcases the same way that Portland does, like Seattle does, like San Francisco does. I knew a dude. He was on the old Eric Noah boards, 3rd edition, from Vancouver. He was like a man's man for a long time. And then when all this shit started, like I followed him on like Facebook and that, and I was kind of friendly with him. I never met him or anything. But man, when all this started, he bought in, and boy, he ended up being one of the most, just like it was like a living version of that Matt Mercer video. It was just sad. Yeah, Vancouver is little Hollywood, exactly. Magnificent Devil. Yep, just as bad.
Is a queer-led video game and narrative design studio crafting original games, providing services in digital placemaking and storytelling. With leadership based in Vancouver, BC, and a team of diverse talent across Canada, each of us brings a unique voice and multiple values perspectives to the development process.
And Anita Sarkeesian was the director there.
Everything comes full circle.
Those of you guys who have been watching, like who watched our gaming.
All right, so I think we get the general idea here. Yeah, this Sweet Baby Inc., they went after somebody who was just curating a list on Steam of, hey, any of you guys on Steam that wants to download a game and you want to make sure that these people have nothing to do with it, here's a list. They, and the Sweet Baby Inc. went ballistic trying to get it taken down. I mean, every dirty trick. I'll stop it here just because I don't want to show the whole thing. Go over to Gundam's channel, obviously. If you're not already subscribed. He's a great YouTuber in my top 5. Yeah, just a really, really good dude. But yeah, so there's our foray into video games. But as I said, these people they're all cut from the same cloth. There's nothing different between Sweet Baby Inc. and someone like Tanya DePass or Daniel Kwan. It's just that Sweet Baby Inc. they're just probably smarter because they're in a bigger industry that's worth a lot of money. But let's face it. When these people get to role playing, it's kind of the bottom of the barrel. Let's face it.
It's almost as if like I don't want to liken it to like being cast on the Love Boat or something, but it's like a little boost to your career.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you guys, things aren't going that great. Do you want to maybe try some role playing online?
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's low. There's a low barrier to entry. You just need, in some ways, to not have a fear of the camera. Yeah. So. Yeah, it attracts some of these people for sure. But yeah, the scam is the same. The industry may be different, but the scam is the same. It's, guys, when I compare it to the mafia, it is a apt comparison. It's the protection racket. We'll make sure your game is safe. If you don't use us, bad things might happen. That is exactly what they do. It is no different, other than it is a little more civilized. There's not the threat of physical violence, but there is the threat of, all of your work will be for naught, and we will ruin you financially. Yeah.
In the mafia world, it's called busting them out.
There you go.
Busted out.
Yep. All right, you want to finish up with a little Scotty G?
I do, and actually, so does the the chat.
Yep.
Overkill Joe is like,
Yep.
can we get some hot sauce, please?
You got it. Ye got it. Then we will sign off. Remember, those of you tuning in right now, I will have on Call of Cthulhu creator and Peterson Games owner Sandy Peterson next week. Should be a great one, a doozy.
Yeah, good show lined up next week. And also tonight we had a great guest, Aaron. Go check out his stuff. The links are in the
description.
Description tonight. There was a couple of those books left for issue 1. I know Tor was trying to get his hands on one, so maybe there's only 7 left.
But sign up. Hey, look, at least get it going and sign up for the email, because there's no commitment. You're just going to get updates. And he says when he gets enough, I think it's over 100, and he's going to launch it. So let's take care of one of our fellow gamers, eh?
Absolutely.
Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons.
His profile picture and his picture of driving, they don't match.
No.
And
a long time ago, I think.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Guys, dashing's not that hard. You shouldn't be aging so much. The only reason I'm looking more haggard, I got 2 teenage daughters now. KG, let's have her trend tonight. She's 18. Sophia just turned 13.
Yep.
2 teenage daughters.
You're going to get a lot of gray hair because his daughter KG is a very fine looking young lady.
She is rather attractive.
Yeah, she's an attractive young lady, so she has no shortage of say gentleman callers, right?
That is correct. And I can't keep them all straight. I'm constantly asking, who are you? And then KG will say, Dad, you met him like 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't fucking remember him.
He ain't worth remembering.
Brand new competitor in the tabletop role-playing game space, the U.S. government.
What?
What?
Let's hear it.
Let's
hear it.
You couldn't make this stuff up, folks. It is so bizarre. So first of all, a big thank you to one of my commenters. The other day, I did a short on Dungeons and Drakenheim, and somebody who said, "Who asked you?" I'm like, I don't think you know how commentary works. I come on, and if it has anything to do with Dungeons and Dragons, I commentate on it, right? And nobody needs to ask me about Dungeons and Dragons. But I was very blessed. So one of my commenters came on and said, "Hey, Scott, what do you think of the new NASA role-playing game?"
He's got more stickers on his...
Does he really?
Yeah, he certainly does.
Racked up more kills?
Yep, more kills. More free fries eaten.
A NASA role-playing game. Okay,
I'm Neil Armstrong.
I gotta say, he's not a complete novice because he knows how to draw people in. Because I think this was the title of the video too. So let's see. I sense shenanigans though from Scott Garibay.
Right, and so I want to say thank you to each and every one of you out there who ever comments on a video, ever likes the video, ever shares a video. But this one was a really good comment because, one, I didn't know about it, right? And so I learned from my own comment section, probably a few hours before I might have seen it, or maybe even a day before I might have seen it on my own. So I really want to thank you guys. So thank you very much to that commenter, and thank you to each and every one of you who engages. By the way, if you don't know, your comments are literally my pay. I've never made a single dollar on this channel. Right? I'm very proud of that.
Stop being proud of that. I hate it when people do that.
Is that true? I'm looking right now in that thing. So it says 2. Is it 2.54?
I think I took that screener a little bit ago, so he might be up near 3K as Tora says.
And 5.9 thousand videos.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Oh yeah, he does because it's garbage content that nobody watches.
Wow, 6,000 videos.
Every time he goes out, just imagine every time you go out dashing or whatever.
I'd have 40,000 videos.
Yeah, you just fire up the camera and just. I know what he does. It's like, let me look at this topic that's kind of current in the news. How can I relate it to D&D? I'll form this tenuous link. I'll talk for about 8 minutes. And boom.
I'll talk for 8 miles.
Yeah. And then bada bing, bada boom, boom, send it off out into the ether. and he gets 25 views, and I don't understand how he doesn't step back and say, all right, well, people aren't actually watching. They're not engaging with this content. I don't know. I'm not saying you can't have rough spots. Look, I've had rough spots. But good Lord. Just at some point, you have to realize that nobody's watching, Scott, and just retool.
If you can't tell, I'm an independent voice, right?
He's in. So right where you paused it, off on the right by those windows,
Mhm.
is a video of himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hit play real quick.
I always find it funny when people are like,
Oh, yeah, what the hell? Oh, that's picking up, I think that's picking up his camera.
In the mirror?
Yeah.
Or the window?
Must be, right? Yeah. That's the only way I could.
Okay.
What do you guys, what do you guys think? Is it
No, that's fine. And Dragon Shadow said he almost picked his nose on camera. You are correct. He went for the nose and then a buzzer hit.
It's like a dog with one of those. Yeah, exactly. They didn't hear it. Go ahead. Give it again. Like a buzzer, right?
you're shilling. I'm like, never gotten anything from anyone. Like I've never gotten $1 for this. I've never been given product. I am truly an independent voice, and I'm very proud of that. And my stuff is so unique.
Bob
it
says it's
literally could not fit any sponsor. There's no possibility, right? Because my stuff is so unique. So I just want to say thank you.
A crazy man delivering food, just giving us every thought off the top of his head. Unique. Yeah. Exactly, Gronard. Yeah, so unique.
All right, let's talk about this. All right. So every other channel will tell you NASA made a tabletop role-playing game. No, that is not what happened, okay? That is the worst reading on what has actually occurred, okay? Guess what? NASA isn't like Evil Hat Games, right? NASA is a department of the US government, right? It is just a department of the US government. So the real understanding of what has happened is NASA published a tabletop role-playing game, okay? The better understanding of it is the U.S. government has gone into direct competition with Hasbro D&D, right? Literally gone into direct competition with Hasbro Dungeons and Dragons, and is.
There was an old Simpsons where it was called Lisa the Greek, where her and Homer bonded over her ability to predict football games. Yeah, but at some point in the, I think early on, Homer was trying to get his tips from one of those 900 numbers, and they were trying to, of course, milk the time they were on the phone. But first, in the game between the Cincinnati Bengals, it's what Scott reminds me of here. He's just milking this for every bit that he can get.
Now in competition, trying to win the market from Dungeons and Dragons, which is really, and you're like, wait, Scott, I don't know if they're trying to compete with. They could have partnered with them. Dungeons and Dragons has a partnered content section now. I have a whole bunch of videos on it. NASA could have partnered with Hasbro D&D and made peace with them, but instead they're like, "Oh, we coming for you, Hasbro.
we coming for you." All we need, 2 corporations messing up D&D. Exactly, Hungar. Thank you.
Bro, we're coming for the market. We want to control the tabletop role-playing game market. So the U.S. government is going into direct competition with the #1 tabletop role-playing game provider in the world. That's what's really happened, right? It doesn't matter that NASA, it's the U.S. government. Your tax dollars were spent on this, okay? Do you understand that? Right? Your tax dollars were spent to make a tabletop role-playing game. And of course,
I gotta say, I'm liking the way he's going there. Whenever you're calling out the waste of taxpayer money, Scott, you got my ear.
My fur is up because they did it wrong, right? They have gone into direct competition with Dungeons and Dragons. Right? Dungeons and Dragons is not mentioned anywhere in the product.
Good one.
Right? And the reality is, it is published by NASA, but that doesn't matter. This is the first time any branch of the U.S. government has ever published a tabletop role-playing game, right? So,
but he hasn't told us, like, what is this game? What's it about?
He hasn't
It's like,
mentioned
oh
it
my
at all.
God. But I mean, if you want to have a successful, semi-successful YouTube channel, you might need to set up camp somewhere in your house and just like pull it up.
Maybe his mom wouldn't let him.
That is a possibility.
I jest because isn't he married?
He is. He has kids. Yeah. Maybe his wife won't let him. She wants to get rid of him.
Will you please go dashing tonight?
But this has the, potential to be a kind of an interesting topic. Oh, I didn't know NASA had a RPG. So instead of actually seeing clips of it, or you can get it here, or this is my take on it. I've read through it, even if I didn't read it cover to cover. Instead, you get a lunatic just doing this.
we are in a new day. Like, this is wild. In February 2024, the U.S. government was not in direct competition with the greatest role-playing game in the world. In March 2024, NASA decided that they would put a product in direct competition with a capital product, Dungeons & Dragons. And not a small one, like a global American product. Right? This is very, very bad.
So so Brett might even know what it is. It's a one-shot adventure module and a NASA PR piece. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yep.
In my humble opinion. All right. So first of all, I don't like this, right? Because the reality is, first of all, it does not matter to me at all that NASA did this. And the reason why is they represent the U.S. government, right? They do things that it is literally not legal for any other corporation to do without massive communication with the government, filling out a million forms, and quite frankly, like probably paying a bunch of taxes to the government to do, right? Like they control, like this is the U.S. government. Make no mistake. This is not like NASA is not.
How many times is he going to tell us this is the government? We get it. We got it. This is actually one of his longer videos. We got. I may have to skip ahead here, people. This could. Dare I say this could start to get a little. We'll see if there's any. See if there's a break here.
An indie TTRPG industry, but there is a Dungeons & Dragons industry. That industry is real. It's at scale. It's a legamomon. It has legacy and momentum, right? So
legamomon? Is that what he just said?
He did.
What the hell I've never heard that before.
I've not heard that before, but maybe that's our ignorance. Right? Double D.
Legamomon.
We're just some uneducated trolls in a basement. I have no clue.
I am extremely upset that that the U.S. government has undercut Hasbro's D&D's price model. Right? They're like, oh, tabletop role-playing games should be free, right? How would, like, okay, Burlington Coat Factory, right? Like they buy a whole bunch of coats and they distribute them. How would they feel if the U.S. government began making coats and giving them away for nothing? That's like, and this is the issue, right? I love tabletop role-playing. Actually, I don't love
who's
tabletop
here.
role-playing.
How you doing, Shark? Semper Fi, my friend. Good to see you. You just caught us at the tail end here. Boy, his angle on this is stretched pretty thin. It's pretty incredulous here.
Playing games. I love the best tabletop role-playing experience in the world, which is Dungeons & Dragons, right? I actually don't like tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah.
I like the premier tabletop role-playing game experience. I like the tabletop role-playing experience, which is Dungeons & Dragons, right? Which Ben from Questing Beast just today had an entire video labeled D&D is not a game. I love it. I loved it. I love that video. Boy, did I love that video, right? Like, yeah, okay. So I'm not the only one who's, has a video saying D&D is not a game, or anymore, right? So really fascinating, really fascinating. Okay.
Are those speed bumps or people he's running over? Or kittens? I know. What's he running over?
Cats, dogs.
Check this out, right? So I am really distressed, and so
see, it just happened again.
God, he's got the worst suspension, or it's probably the Philly roads, if we must be fair here. If the Philly roads are anything like our roads, I can kind of sympathize.
I don't think I would be opposed to the U.S. government getting on board with tabletop role-playing experiences if they had done it right? And the way to do it right you would go to the market winner, right? The one that's too big to fail. And you would say, hey, we're NASA. We're really good at space. We would love to bless you as a capital. The U.S. government prints money and hands it to banks, right? They don't just give it straight to the people, right? That's not how it works, right? And so the right way to have done this would be for the U.S. government, for somebody in NASA to say, hey, I would really like to make a tabletop role-playing experience, and then the manager should have been like, yeah, that's great, no problem. Call up Renton, get on the horn.
I'm right there.
Boom. Yeah, that's a big one. Oh my Lord, this is a painful one. He is stretching this premise so tight. Oi.
Jeremy Crawford, let's get this done, right? We're going to do partnered content with Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to bless a good, freestanding American.
Ethereum almost at 4K. Damn right. I bought a nice little chunk of Ethereum at 1,600. I've just been kind of hodling for a little while now. After it kind of went up a little bit, then it went down, and now it's slowly climbing. So yeah, Bitcoin too.
Capitalist commercial venture, and we're going to help them. We're not going to undercut them and make it harder for them to sell their adventure.
He's really saying that NASA's little one shot is going to put a crimp in D&D's sales. I mean, this is insanity, right?
Or is he going the opposite way? NASA focusing too much on role-playing games, their next rocket's not going to work right.
Well, it probably won't work, but not because they're focusing on a PR stunt, which is all this is. Oh my Lord! All right, well, only a minute 40 left. All right, let's see if we can get through this.
Right, by making one and giving it away for free. Right, I don't know if they got the message, but we're not a communist nation. This is not Vladimir Putin's, hammer and sickle land, right?
All right. Vladimir Putin is many things, but he's not a communist. Scott's the guy who's sort of kind of on your side, but you don't want him to ever talk for you ever. Because I think he is... I think he has some of the same beliefs that a lot of us do. He's insane.
I agree with that. I agree that we're on the same page with him quite a bit. We just don't like how he phrases it.
Well, plus he legit does have a little bit of... He has some issues, let's just say. He has some mental issues, but...
This is America, right? And so this was a outrageously communist, horrible capitalist undercut from the U.S. government to a freestanding market. This was a very, very, very bad idea, right? I'm not actually opposed to what they created. I'm opposed to how they distributed it and what they set as the pricing model, and the fact that they didn't even call, Dungeons & Dragons and do it right? It's galling from 15 different levels, right? I'm extremely upset with NASA for creating a $0 D&D killer, right? They should.
D&D. It's a D&D killer now.
This ain't the Death Star.
He called it a D&D killer. Yeah, everybody's talking about it on Twitter, Scott. It's days are done. Wow. And so you have to wonder, like somebody said earlier, is he becoming self-aware? Is he just doing this just to pull people's chain? He may very well be at this point because it's so ridiculous.
Would have never done this, right? Or an attempt at a D&D killer, right? And that's the other thing is they're picking winners in the market, right? So they could have chose Dungeons & Dragons. They could have chose the OSR. They don't even know what the OSR is. But they chose the indie space. They chose the indie space as a market winner. That is market manipulation, in my humble opinion. And in my humble opinion,
I love
U.S.
his humble
government.
opinion. I always love when he says there should be a Scott Garibay bingo game when we're playing or when we're watching that we could scratch off.
I think we brought that up before. Yeah,
We brought it up for like our whole show as a bingo game. We maybe came up with a Scott Garibay drinking game, but we need a Scott Garibay bingo card.
He's gonna wish you a happy millennium here. So we are at the
Is
end.
engaged in market manipulation against Hasbro, and that is appalling, and that is wrong. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Barely matters. What really matters is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.
Boom. And I'm at my house. Here's your Chick-fil-A.
Have a wonderful millennium.
Sorry, a bite's missing. I got hungry.
Oh, well. All right. Obviously, no auto-enrolling tonight without Rogan. I was all set and ready to go, and then got the call. Boo, but it's okay. Rogan is usually a gamer. He is... if he's not showing up, there is usually a pretty good
Right now,
reason.
he's running the household. Mrs. Rogan is out of town.
Yep.
Their son might have needed rides.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
work or
Yep.
maybe just he has to stay home and be a dad. You know, you never know.
Mhm.
Like, crack down on that homework tonight, Junior.
Do you like me putting you up in that little tower there?
Yeah, I did.
On the screen?
Yep.
I just needed something to cover up the screen in case, we have a full house in here.
Yeah, no worries.
So now I can just put that there and toggle back. Well, chat, you've been wonderful tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, good crowd. I think we scraped 130. I think we're going to do real good.
We had a great guest today. We're going to have a great guest next week. Pop that like, pop that subscribe button.
Yep. Spread the word that Sandy Peterson will be on stream next week for an
We're
interview.
flying him in for where's he from?
that I do not know.
Well, parts
I don't know where he's. I don't know where he's at now.
Parts unknown.
But yeah, we're gonna thank you, Nixit. Hope all is well with you and your wife. Congratulations again, Tora, for getting a new house.
Yeah, that's
signing
awesome.
the papers. Yep. And remember to join us next week. The man himself. I think he is kind of like all those early guys. I think we have a lot in common with them. I gotta highlight this because whoops. Meet my wife. We're big Misties. When there's nothing going on, we'll just throw on one of the Mystery Science channels. And my wife was trying to tell my daughter, "Oh yeah, Dad's gonna have Sandy Frank on." Oh wait, that's not right. And I started chuckling, so I started singing the Sandy Frank song. Sandy Frank, Sandy Frank. All right, any last chats here? Ask him about his Doom days. Yeah, I tell you what, if you guys want to hit me up on Twitter, I mean, we'll call a couple of questions from the chat. When we're here next week. Again, fingers crossed. But he did confirm and said, "Yep, we're good." But yeah, hit me up on Twitter at @WeWheaton if you have any questions for the great Sandy Peterson. Any last any benediction over there, Mr. Mouse?
I get it that Rogan had other commitments. I think he really would have liked today's show. I think him and Aaron would have probably gotten along really well.
Well, when Aaron launches, we'll have him back. We'll make sure Rogan's there. Like I said, he doesn't miss too often. So
no, I miss more than him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep,
I got.
Yep, for sure.
So much crap going on Wednesdays. It seems.
Yep.
I looked at a calendar, and I'm like, man, Mrs. Mouse, doesn't Double D have anything ever going on Wednesday? Like, all these kids' birthdays were all on Wednesdays. It was just like one Wednesday, right after another. And I'm just like, man,
It happens.
And we only got 3 kids.
Yep.
You know, like, they all just happen to be on a Wednesday.
All right, guys. We'll let you go. A little early.
Have a great
tonight.
night, chat.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Have a great night. We'll send you out. Overkill. 119 likes. Yeah, hit it on the way out. Let's see. Maybe I can leave you with some. I'm starting to really like the classy Freddie Blassie Pencil Neck Geek. I like it too because it doesn't get my stream demonetized. For some reason, that song is not monetized on YouTube. So, I'll use it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace. Love y'all. We'll see you next week for the big show again with Sandy on.
Back when I was a kid, life was going swell. Till something happened. Blew everything to hell. That night my daddy stumbled in, all pale and weak. Said a woman up the block just gave birth to a geek. Mom said, sell it to the circus. What the heck? Dad said, nope, this one's a pencil neck. And if there's one thing lower than a sideshow freak, it's a gritty, scum-sucking pencil neck geek. You see, if you take a pencil that won't hold lead, looks like a pipe cleaner attached to a head, add a buggy whip body with a brain that leaks, you got yourself a grit-eating pencil neck geek. Pencil neck geek, grit-eating freak, scum-sucking pea-head with a lousy physique. He's a one-man, no-gut, losing streak. Nothing but a pencil neck geek. Pencil neck geek. Soon the geeks were popping up all over town. You couldn't hardly sneeze without knocking one down. After a nice juicy steak, if you need a toothpick, just reach for a geek. They'll do the trick. One day we cut one up for fish bait. Learned our lesson just a little bit late. Soon as the geek hit the drink, the water turned red. Next day, sure enough, all the fish were dead. Pencil neck geek, grit-eating freak, scum-sucking pea-head with a lousy physique. He's a one-man, no-gut losing streak. Nothing but a pencil neck geek. Most any night, you know where I can be found. Yeah, stomping some geeks head into the ground. So keep the faith, cause in Blassie you can trust. I won't give up till the last geek bites the dust. Pencil neck geek, gritty freak, scum-sucking pea-head with a lousy physique. He's a one-man, no-gut losing streak. Nothing but a pencil neck geek. They say these geeks come a dime a dozen. I'm looking for the guy who's supplying the dimes. It's gonna be real hard times for all of these grit-eating, scum-sucking, boot-licking, drop-kicking, gut-grinding, nail-biting, glue-sniffing, scab-picking, butt-scratching, egg-hatching, sleazy, smelly, pepper-bellied, dirty, lousy, rotten, stinking freaks. Nothing but a pencil neck geek. Pencil neck